Hi everybody, and welcome to Art Outside of the Box with Miss Judy on a snowy kind of Thursday afternoon. I think a lot of you had snow days today, which is always a nice surprise to wake up to that and have the day to do what you want. So hopefully you're doing some crafts today. I'm going to show you something I've been working on this past week, and I think everyone knows that Valentine's Day is coming up in February. And that happens to be a holiday that I like because Valentine's Day is also my birthday. So I celebrate in a special kind of way. But a lot of people make cards and Valentines to give to their friends and relatives. And I really like these pop-up cards. So I've been working on a couple different designs here. And it looks just like an ordinary card from the front. But when you open it up, the little heart pops out and it says, I love you. That's a real simple one we can do. This one is a little more complicated, but we'll go through this too. So on the front, I just decorated it with a couple little hearts, and you open it up and it's almost like a little stairway, and I wrote little sayings on some of these. So they're pretty simple. It takes a little bit of practice. I did have a couple of flubs, but I think I've got it figured out. So let me get set up. We're not going to make a huge mess today, which will be a change, and we'll get going. Thanks for being here. All right, I'm all set to go. So I'll show you the very few materials that you'll need. You will need some colored paper, and I've got some cardstock here, and this happens to be 8.5 inches by 11 inches. So I'm going to leave that the same, not cut it. I'll take it and fold it in half and give it a really nice crease to form the outside of the card. You can use your fingernails for this, or if you have a ruler, which you'll need, you can use that. So a sheet of paper 8.5 by 11, and then you're going to need another sheet of paper, and I cut this down to 8 by 10 because I want it to be a little bit smaller than my card. So it's going to fit inside there nice. You'll need some scissors, and you'll need a ruler and a pencil and glue sticks. And then we have this little gizmo that was given to us a while ago. It's called a Cricut, and it cuts things out like different shapes. So I use that. But it's super easy to cut a heart. I think you've all done that before. Just fold your paper in half and you're good to go. So you don't need anything fancy to do this. Also, I have a Sharpie marker here just to finish things off if I want to write a saying. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is set this aside, and I'm going to take my white paper, which I have cut down, and give that a good fold right in half, as close as you can get it. And then I want to give that a good crease. Okay, now the next thing you're going to need to do is measure a little bit. And I learned by mistake on this. I'll show you on this one what happened. You can see these tabs sticking out at the bottom. Well, it would look a lot better if those weren't there. So that's why you need to be a little bit accurate in your measurements. So with the folded half towards you, I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to, from the outside in, measure and put a little dot here at 2 inches. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to go in 2 inches. And then I'll turn it this way, and I want to measure up from the fold. Let's see, 2¼ inches. So right there I'm on the quarter mark, and then I'm going to draw a line. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. You can be a little more precise if you want to, but that's going to work. So that's 2¼ inches. I'm going to go down to this next dot and do the same. Okay. Then you'll take your scissors and cut right along this line. all the way to where it ends at your 2 1/4 mark. Same on the other side. Now, when you fold this over, okay, we're good. You want to make sure that you're going to fold both layers of this over. Just make sure that this isn't overhanging. That's where you'll run into that problem that I had. So fold it up. Give it a real good crease with your fingernail. And then we're going to flip it over, fold it in the same manner in the other direction. Okay? So when we open this, after those initial cuts, it's going to look like this. Pretty much just a piece of paper with your folds and 2 slits. Now you're going to fold this in the opposite direction. This is where it gets a little confusing. And you'll take this, you'll be able to see your fold line, fold that up again, and we're going to measure. So this time when we cut, you'll have 4 layers of paper. You'll have this folded part, and you'll have this, and you'll have this. So this time we're going to measure in 1 inch from this side. So we'll make a little mark here, a 1 inch mark here, and then we're going to go 1 inch up. So you just take that right straight up to your 1 inch mark. You get the hang of this after you do it about 3 or 4 times, but it is a little bit confusing. Okay, so we'll do the same thing again and cut up to the end of your pencil line. All right, and then just like we did before, you'll fold this up, increase it, and then we'll turn it over and take this flap and fold it up again. All right, so this next part is where it does get a little bit confusing when you undo these folds. And this is when you're gonna know if you messed up or not. So keep your fingers crossed, everybody. All right, you're gonna fold this in the opposite direction. And when you open it, and fold these out, I know this is kind of hard to show you on the camera here. Pop this out, and it worked, just like magic. Okay, so that's what it'll look like when you open your card. And like I said, you got to practice this a few times, and it's something you might have to learn by your mistakes. I did have a couple of those. Now, if you keep to these measurements, you shouldn't have any problem at all with this. If you don't measure, you're going to have some errors like I did here. This one's kind of hanging out too much. This one looks all right. So to finish this off, here's where you're going to need your glue stick. I'll get these out of the way here. Excuse me. We're going to take, you don't want to put any glue on this part that is going to pop off the page, all right? So just glue along your borders. And you don't have to go too heavy on this, but you want to make sure that all your edges are going to stick down. And I like to get around these creases too. We'll put one more strip up here and one here, and that should work out. You know, this is cardstock, so this is a little bit heavier. This is just, this is what we use for our copy paper. You could use cardstock for this too. So this part's a little tricky because you want to match up this crease with the crease on the outside of your card. So I'm gonna kind of push that down. I can see that's matched up pretty well. And then I'll fold this up and do the top part. Got a little bit of a buckle going there. Okay. If you have any little edges like this, you can trim those up. It's not a problem. Just trim that a little bit more. All right. Now when I open this, you have to give these a little fold, but everything should pop right out. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna fold it back down, press it so all my creases are real good. And that's what it should look like. Does that make sense? I know it's a little bit tricky, so just keep working at it and you'll get it. What you can do once you get one that's successful is keep it around and save it, because the next time you do it, you might have to look at that to remind you where your cuts need to be made. So the last thing we'll do with this is put some decorations on it. And I'm going to take a couple of these little hearts that I cut out and glue those to the top. Just put a little glue stick on there. You can use any color combinations that you like. I really like the pinks and the purples. And we'll put one more. Let's do one of these big ones. Okay, if you want to embellish these a little bit, take a marker and just do some lines on them that kind of makes them pop out. You can write on these. Yeah, I think that helps. All right, so that's the front of your card. Now I'm going to finish this off and then I will show you the completed project in just a moment. Okay, so I finished this off and here's what I ended up with. I put some lettering on the hearts on the front, and then on the inside I did the same. So you could sign your name on the bottom here. You could give it just like it is to your friends, relatives, whoever you'd like to give a happy Valentine's Day card to. Stop in and see us. Our doors are open now. We'd be so happy to see your faces. And always watch for our virtual programming on Facebook and our YouTube channel. We've got all kinds of things to entertain you. Have a great week, and we will see you next Thursday at 7. Bye-bye now.